Instead of the mortal life that is the dying life, the life that dies, I will have an immortal life that is a living death, a death that lives.
Dr. Abramelin Faustus.
Tragic Tale of One Dr. Faustus by Francis Topowski. Short story version.
A tall, gaunt figure flitted like a shadow up the zigzagging lane to the door of his Victorian mansion. Descending night conjured up lightning, thunder, rain, winds, and cold, to fill each step with bitter misery. His mind's eye was scarred with images of hundreds of faces poised in mocking laughter. He snorted up his phlegm before his nose could run onto his dark overcoat. His bones, indeed his very spirit, ached. Today, was supposed to have been his great day. He snorted again, shivered as well. To the audience of scientists before which he had tried to unveil the fruits of decades of intensive hard work and sound, thorough research, his presentation had been accepted as no more than a crackpot's unwitting farce. Academia thus shunned him. They pulled funding for further research. They even went so far in their merciless intolerance as to fire him right then and there on the spot he stood on their stage, right in their spotlight. They ousted him from the university, their clique, publicly humiliated him. Thus they expressed their distaste for his kind. He scolded himself for ever bothering to think there was room in their collective closed mind for him. He had found that his presentation, which was a carefully well planned out, structured lecture to last a modest hour and a half, if even that, had been repeatedly interrupted over and over with increasing frequency and heat until it broke down into debate. Not a debate that had emerged amongst members of the audience. No, the audience, aghast at what he proposed, gathered as one and ganged up on him. And long before he could finish his points, they simply did not want to hear it. It was them against him. The aging process is intrinsic to biologic life, they stated pompously, quoting their own textbooks as scripture. He countered, as gentle as he could keep his voice in the face of their fires, in a hopelessly quivering tone that cracked almost into a whimper. But what if a given life weren't completely biologic, if it were a mix of organism and machine, cyborgic? If only they had let him get to the end of his lecture, they would have seen it his way. Or would they have? Could they have? No, of course not, he told himself now scoldingly. Then sentience and free will could not enter the equation, they spat with a curious tone of resentment, and they did not even let him retort. They had the unanimous petition for his dismissal ready, stapled to a report all about him by a respectable psychiatrist. Security guards handed him this and threatened to carry him away if he did not leave immediately. The contents of his desk would be mailed to him, they told him. But he knew, he had the very equations right before his mind's eye, even as he walked yet. Yes, it was all coming together even clearer than before, he noted to himself. Those pseudo-scientists inflamed with anger, sure, but he burned in angry flames of inspiration. The flames were just the extra push he needed for it all to come together. He muttered to himself, not only sentience and will, but personal identity too can be maintained. That's what his theory would have shown if only they had listened. And now, as he stood on the threshold, he knew it could go beyond theory into practice. He held the key. He opened the door and slammed it behind.